Welcome to Working Wednesday. My name is Mary Jo Williams. I will be your facilitator and moderator for today's event. But before we get started, let me share a little information with you.
For business been affected by COVID-19, the Virgin Islands Small Business Development Center is available to assist entrepreneurs and small businesses in the U.S. Virgin Islands. The VISBDC is sustained by the University of the Virgin Islands and the U.S. Small Business Administration and collaborates with local agencies to support the small business community. The VISBDC is nationally accredited and provides free consulting, business education training, and technical assistance. Attend workshops with subject matter experts from both the public and private sector. From idea generation to exit strategies, the staff at the VISBDC is ready to assist you. Now is the time to contact them if you need assistance with the Federal Paycheck Protection Program. So don't wait. Call or email them to find out how they can help your business grow and succeed.
¿Su negocio ha sido afectado por COVID-19? El Centro de Desarrollo de Pequeñas Empresas está disponible para ayudar a los empresarios en las Islas Vírgenes de los Estados Unidos. El VISBDC es sostenido por la Universidad de las Islas Vírgenes y la Administración de Pequeñas Empresas de los Estados Unidos para apoyar a la comunidad de negocios pequeños. El VISBDC está acreditado a nivel nacional y ofrece consultoría gratuita, educación empresarial y asistencia técnica. Asista a talleres con expertos en la materia, tanto del sector público como del privado, desde generaciones de ideas hasta estrategia de salida. El personal del VISBDC está listo para ayudarlo. Ahora es el momento de contactarlos si necesita ayuda con el Programa Federal de Protección de Pago, ya que esta oportunidad de financiamiento está programada para finalizar el 31 de marzo del 2021. Llame o envíe un correo electrónico para averiguar cómo puede ayudar a que su negocio crezca y tenga éxito.
Okay, now you've seen our commercial in English and in Spanish, and it's my pleasure to bring to you Mr. Mark Wilson of the Wilson Company. And our topic for today is e-commerce from brick and mortar to click and mortar. Now, Mr. Wilson has a lot of experience, and I won't take up any more of his time, and I will let him take control of the meeting. Mr. Wilson, the floor is yours. Okay, Mr. Wilson, your mic is muted.
How about that?
Oh, much better.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you, sir.
So should I start over?
From the beginning.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm delighted to be working with the Virgin Islands again. I spent several weeks on the island over a couple years after the storms, getting retailers and restaurateurs and hospitality back open again, and really enjoy working with the islanders and making things better for you guys and everyone, and pour the pandemic on top, and we've got double jeopardy, and we're a year in and coming out, and I'm here to spread some optimism. I think we're going to see some things happening. I'm sure you folks have seen on the national news that cruise ships are going to be back up and running. And I'm sure that's huge good news for you folks. And nothing but optimism. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Now, we have a ways to go. And I'm concerned that some states on the mainland have opened up a little early. But let's see what happens. History will tell the truth. But with that said, let's move into what's happening right now, both for larger e-commerce stores, chain stores, mega stores, and mom and pops. because it's finally reached us down at the independently owned store level. So with that said, let's move off the title slide. Now, did I just move that or did you, Mary Jo? Doesn't matter. It moved. So we'll proceed. No, let's go back to the picture. My pic. Here we go. So that's me. Just so you know who you're talking to. I've been doing this for 12 years. I'm a retail restaurant hospitality strategist and certainly have been pushed to my max during the past year, 2020 and early 2021 with the pandemic. But this is what I do. This is what I've done my whole life in terms of retail restaurants, running businesses myself. And then for the past, as I said, the past 11, almost 12 years, I've met with thousands of small business owners and given several hundred seminars when it comes to all the things involved with running your own business, particularly retail and restaurant. So with that said, let's see if I can move these slides. Next slide. So we're talking about e-commerce today, and the question might be, well, why now and what's so important? Well, in late 2021, we heard that 70% of the shopping done during the holiday season was going to be online. And one of the things that independently owned stores had to figure out was what you have to offer the customer in a manner in which they want, when they want it, and how they want it. So the 4 A's have become anywhere, anyhow, anytime, and any place. That's what the customer's expectations are. And you have to be able to offer that. And you know how to offer that. You got BOPS, BOPIS, which is buy online, pick up in store, curbside pickup, local delivery, which I think would come into play on the island for sure. Shipping, be all the major carriers, UPS, HDL, USPS, and FedEx. So you got the major carriers. And then just come and buy it in the store like the old days. So you have 4 different ways the customer can pick up their product now and how they prefer. And a successful retailer or store has to be able to execute to that. You have to give the customer what they want. Aside from bricks and mortar, you have now got to be a player on the internet. Now, there were many years during my consulting career where I said that the independent retail shop didn't have to worry about the internet, that their website was for marketing and they had to have a good website for marketing so that they would get found on Google. But now it goes beyond that because consumers have discovered other ways to shop. And as I said in this slide, 70% of the big box stores, the shopping will be done online. Now, I don't believe the independently owned store will ever reach 70% or even 50, but I think 10 to 20% is a big number and more than you've ever experienced before. So you have to be prepared to do some business online. So you have a website for marketing and you have a website with a shopping cart and the ability to sell. You also have other formats that you can put your product on, like Amazon Marketplace and Walmart Marketplace, Instagram Shop, Facebook Shop, Etsy. There are several different platforms beyond what you can do on your own website. So we're all in this together. So do it with empathy because we're all in this climbing out of this pickle together. So next slide. So what's happened with e-commerce, and we're going to get into how you put your best foot forward when it comes to that. But when you talk about e-commerce, you're now getting two types of customers. You have a customer that shops with you in the store and has shopped with you maybe for years, or on the islands, if they're tourists, shopped with you for the first time, but they're there as tourists. So they're there for the experience. So they're looking for this full gauge personal experience that they've maybe never had before, having never traveled to the Virgin Islands, but they're looking for something that's memorable. They're looking for the feelings that were invoked during their shopping. It's not a transactionally based relationship. It's really the experience, the feelings. You're in the business of feelings, not really selling transactions or products. And what you find with online customers that's different is that they've spent time on your website and other websites, and they've decided based on their research, they're on a mission. They already know what they want. So they're not as interested in the experience as they are finding the product they've chosen and efficiently and easily and frictionlessly and no contact experience in getting what they want delivered to them how they want it delivered. So you have a customer that has different needs and desires other than the person that has wandered in your store based on being in Christiansted or another town or another place on the Virgin Islands. So you have to be prepared to meet the customers where they are mentally and physically, but they are different. Now, here's something for you that you might not have heard. The hottest demographic right now is a baby boomer that has discovered shopping on the internet during the holidays because they fell in love with it. And they have more money than millennials or Gen X's do. So the new marketing strategy is to go after these boomers that discover, and that's 55 to 70 boomers that have discovered the internet. There's a number, 150 million is the number of people that bought on the first time on the internet globally in 2020. I mean, that's astounding. So it's happening, and I want to help you get through getting it set up and getting it done. Next slide. So often, the internet is the online shopping experience is different. And people ask me, well, I know what I do in my store, and I know why people love my store. And they may know, but people ask me all the time, I say I can go to any town in America or any, well, probably the globe, but I can go into any town and find you somebody that's doing just fine. In fact, there's thriving. And people would ask, well, what do they do that I'm not doing? Or what do they do that's different? The answer is the special sauce. It's what the owner exudes. It's the culture they've created. It's the people they've hired. It's the vibe. It's the vibration. It's the energy. It's everything going on in the store that a customer feels when they come in. They feel like they're a member of this tribe or family or clan. And it's usually because there's a feeling bigger than selling product to a customer. There's a commitment to the community. There's a mission. There's believing in a cause. But you're really in the business of selling feelings to the customer. And those are all embedded in the small personal touches that differentiate you from an otherwise impersonal transaction. And one of the ways to do that is to be personal with the customers that have already shopped with you before, and then creating the atmosphere of, I want you to be a part of our family, and the feelings which you invoke not only in the store but online. And to be personal online, you got to have data. You got to know who they are, where they're from. Are they married? What's their income? Are they traveling? What cruise boat were they on? Did they fly in? You know, all the different little nuances about this person. And the more, you know, the old retail laws are that 20% of your customers produce 80% of your revenue, and that 20% of your inventory produces 80% of your revenue. So you need to know what that top 20% looks like. And in order to do that, you need to keep data on their shopping history. And I heard from a colleague recently this statement, and I believe it. I think it's so true. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. So I'm a big numbers guy. I believe that you need to know your numbers. You need to know profit and loss. You need to know your cash flow break even, those types of things. So just a word to the wise. Next slide. Personalize the experience. I've talked about this. Knowing what they do. You know, Facebook and Instagram are experts in telling you who it is that's following you. So is Google. You can go to Google Analytics. You go to your Google business page and read the reviews. Go to Yelp, find out what Yelp's saying about you. And then always be close and in constant contact with your best customers, because they are your barometer for what you're doing and what will be successful. Because you're looking for folks that spend money just like the top 20% does. And what characteristics do they share? And you determine that, and then you could personalize the experience by referring to previous purchases, a taste level, knowing what they would like. We got a black dress in. It has your name on it. You will love it. And as you gain their trust, because part of shopping with a small store is having trust in the ownership, because one of the reasons people shop with a small store is they know they're that much closer to the owner, and the owner cares about them, unlike an employee of a bigger box store. And you have to wrap all this up to the whole island adventure, and that most people are on vacation and there to spend money, and they're looking for the experience. Next slide. So building customer relations, the only way you can do that is collect data. You need to get your customers' email addresses. My goodness, being on the island, you can continue to sell them when they're back on the mainland if you have their email address. One of the suggestions I made when I was on the island was that public Wi-Fi become available at the ports where the ships land. Because the first thing people are doing is they're getting on Google to find the stores and the products that they want. So if we were to make sure that everyone had free Wi-Fi availability, it would make it seamless for the visitors to find the stores and the products and the experiences they're looking for. So that's another piece of e-commerce. Next. So why is it important? E-commerce makes you geographically limitless. You gain the reach of the world, and you're open 365, 24/7. So you have greatly scaled your audience. convenience. E-commerce makes it easier to enable deals and coupons and rewards and codes and all sorts of different ways to let the customer enjoy promotions that you have going on. And then you're going to gain new customers based on search engine optimization and your new visibility. And you're going to understand more about the customer through all the analytics that's available to you just on the fact that they used that portal to find you. And there's no question consumers are changing the way they shop. The only thing that I can promise you is to expect the unexpected. Did anyone know 14 months ago that we were going to survive and go through what we have for the last 14 months? No one. We were caught flat-footed. We really were caught unprepared. Next slide. So selling online, what's different? Well, you have an e-commerce platform available to you. That means taking software and combining it with your website that allows you to sell online. And the big names that you may recognize are Shopify, Wix, Squarespace, WooCommerce, WOO Commerce, BigCommerce, Lightspeed, WordPress. There are all kinds of platforms available to you to make your site e-commerce capable. Secondly, you have all sorts of formats that you can sell on outside your own website. eBay, Amazon, Facebook, Walmart, Etsy. There are all kinds of platforms that you can put your product on and sell in addition to having the product on your website. And then multi-channel refers to being available not only on the internet and your website and in your store, but on social platforms and mobile platforms and using emails through direct mail programs. And beyond even emails, you can use USPS Every Door Direct, which is a direct mail program that's way less expensive than direct mail. So Every Door Direct through USPS. Check that out. And as a result, you become omni-channel. And omni-channel means you've integrated all these different methods of shopping to deliver a consistent, personalized experience across all channels and devices. So the way to be successful is to be available in every platform the customer may prefer. So not only any way, anyhow, any place, anytime, not only curbside, local delivery, shipping, and in the store. There are so many different ways the customer may want the product, and that's omni-channel. Next slide. So I wanted to go through with you the top 5 of e-commerce platforms and formats for you to use to be online. And I haven't been hired by Shopify. I haven't even really spoken to them one-on-one. I follow their blog because there's tremendous information there, but Shopify seems to be the biggest and the easiest. And it's a way for you to take your website and make it e-commerce friendly, meaning that they can buy with a shopping cart. They can set up several things to personalize the site. And I want to spend a minute telling you about that. And they also have a 14-day free trial. So there is a cost that transaction fees can be 0 to 2%, and somewhere between $29 and $79 a month is a fee. the features. It's very easy. It's not very easy, but it's easy to set up to get your pictures online and to create one-click selling, which is what Amazon did. That was pure brilliance for you to be able to buy a product with one click and it shows up at your house in less than 2 days. That's pure genius. Well, you can set that up with Shopify on your own website. But the other thing that's important, and I said this early on, your website needs to be able to talk to your point of sale. And Shopify is a point of sale. So the two speak to one another. So you manage your inventories and then you can go on and personalize the site to make it more personal to your customer. What do I mean by that? They offer live chat through Tidio, Tidio. They offer a contactless payment procedure. They offer live inventory management, which means the customer can see how many of a product you have left, which leads to LTOs, limited time offers, and gives a sense of urgency to the customer. If there's only 2 of these left, I better buy it. So inventory visibility live, and also contactless payment, and also a live chat. By the way, leave the live chat only open when you're open, so you don't have to have someone answering a live chat 24/7, 365. But live chat's an important plugin too. So a bunch of plugins, a bunch of ways to make the site all in one and manage your entire e-commerce process. Shopify is big. Now, the other 4 are platforms: Facebook, Instagram. I'll add Instagram to that because you can now shop directly from those platforms. So you can buy directly from Facebook and directly from Instagram, straight from your accounts on those platforms. Amazon giving you the largest search engine optimization of any other site when it comes to putting items online. Etsy and Handmade, Amazon Handmade, are really suited to handmade products, artisans products, things that are more, again, handmade and arts and craft. But this doesn't cover the entire universe. I mentioned Lightspeed HQ and WooCommerce and BigCommerce. There are a bunch of platforms, but my feeling is if you were to contact Shopify right now, you could be selling online with a shopping cart by tomorrow night. And I think that's what's key. But you got to be willing to share some of the profit margin, because now you're paying a transaction fee, 5%, 2%, $1 per item, 5%. You are paying a portion of your gross margin now for selling online. Next slide. Couple tips for your website. I think it's real important to have a video on the homepage of your website. It's 30 seconds or less, because that's the attention span of an adult. And it needs to communicate 2 things. One, it needs to be who you are, what you do, and what makes you different than every other shop on the island. But most importantly, why they should care. So it's your destination statement. I am the only shop on St. Croix that. I am the only shop in the Virgin Islands that. And you have to be able to finish that with a statement that makes you unique. And what does unique mean? It means one of a kind. It's your, as one of my colleagues says, it's your destination statement. The second half of the video ought to just be reinforcing to the customer what you've done to make your store safe to shop in. That you require masks. Regardless of what the current protocol is, if you want to be safe for yourself, your customers, And your employees, you ought to be wearing masks and staying 6 feet apart until we have a grasp on the virus, until we've reached herd immunity. So I think that the safest thing to do is let the customer know what to expect when they get to your store. And that's why the second 15 seconds is important. And Google search engines just prefer sites that have video on them and that are connected to many other and linked to many other platforms. So let me add this because it's worth coming and listening to me. Who owns YouTube? Google owns YouTube. What do you think they look for first when they do a search? They look for video. So the mere fact that you put a video on your homepage will move you up the search results, particularly when one of those folks get off one of those ships or boats and they're looking for stuff to find on the island. They're going to be looking on Google. And if you have a video there, you'll show up in the search results before your competitors do. So that was worth coming to listen to me for. So use that, and it's easy to do. Just go to YouTube and type in, how do I put a video on my homepage? And there's a dozen videos showing you exactly how. Next slide. Second tip is, as I said, is get found. And the most important piece of getting found is having a good Google business page. It's the page with the 3 buttons, directions, call, and website. There's a map with a thumbtack. It's just the most important thing for you to have on the internet, and it's free. So type into the browser window on Google, GYBO, get your business online, and fill that out and make sure you have a Google My Business page. You'll have to submit a PIN number once they send you a postcard or call you. Make sure you claim your listing or it won't go live. But it's an important piece to e-commerce beyond selling your own stuff on your own site. It's being found on the biggest search engine in the world. Next slide. Update your listings according to Google. Businesses with photos receive 42% more requests for directions and 35% more clicks through to the website. So make sure you post videos and pictures and links on Google and get Google reviews. Google loves the fact that you have Google reviews. And it all happens right on this one page. Make sure your hours are current because they're dynamic on Google. They change day by day when your hours change. And make sure you show off your top 20% product. Get some bait online. Pictures, videos, links, live videos, Zoom. Another way to make the shopping experience personal is to open up Facebook Live or do a Zoom call with the customer. It's like them shop. That's how I do my virtual one-on-ones now. I do it with an open phone on Google, no, not Google, on Zoom or Facebook Live. And that's how we do it live. And you should be doing the same thing. I used to say unpacking the truck was the busiest day of the week. If I got a truck in, everybody want to see what was in those boxes. Same thing applies to y'all. Take a Zoom video of you unpacking the truck, getting excited about your new products. Next slide. So some easy commerce strategies. Ensure that you have effective navigation and search capabilities. Number one reason people leave a website is they don't understand it. There are errors. You can't figure it out and things are broken. Brush up on your product quality of your photos and your descriptions. 1 to 2 sentences only. They've got to be the beginning and last sentence of a paragraph, but in no way do you want to write a paragraph. No one will read it. In fact, you're better off doing a video about your products and explaining why they're so cool and why you bought them, and have employees tell customers what their favorite products are on video. Personalize the homepage. Focus on consistent and unique content. Step up your email blasts. Optimize your shopping cart and checkout. The other thing that Shopify has, and you should make sure any format you go with has, the biggest issue on shopping online is abandoned shopping carts. People leaving the site and leaving product in their cart without buying them. Well, Shopify has an automatic email that's generated to them that mentions the product that's in the cart and whether they're still interested in it or not. It's called the 9 or 10 word email. I see you were looking at sandals on our site. Are you still interested? Improve your social media strategy and content. It's incredibly important. Create website landing pages. Your advertising budget should be somewhere between 2 and 4% of gross revenues, closer to 2% now that so much is done on the internet, and the internet typically is at low cost or no cost. And then you're always best off generating user content, which is getting them to comment things and rewarding them for sharing things. You want word of mouth on steroids. And that's exactly what social media and your website is, or are. Next slide. 5 important steps to a digital strategy. Define your goal. Do you want to sell products? Do you want to brand your company? Do you want to support the community? Do you want to support some charitable causes? Define the goal of the overall digital media strategy. Do everything you can to improve your SEO, search engine optimization, keywords, good photos, LinkedIn short videos. Direct key sales messages to your ideal customers. So you should have a very good idea based on Google Analytics and Facebook and Instagram Analytics who it is that's shopping with you. Look at your e-commerce sales, look at the different channels, and put your energy into the channels that are paying you back the best. I mean, there are some stores that do a ton of business simply by putting stuff on their Facebook page or their Instagram page. Other stores do a tremendous job with email and direct mail. And I'm not here to say that newsprint or signage or direct mail is dead. If the local island paper is read, support them and advertise there. And keep postings regular and consistent on your social media. You're not spamming anybody. Only 2% get your messages anyway. And keep Google and your website updated. There's nothing worse than landing on a page in March on a website that's advertising the Christmas sale. So keep your website updated. Next page, next slide. And make social media work for you. Know your audience. Choose the most relevant social media channels for your audience. So if you have an older customer, it's definitely Facebook. If you have a younger customer, it's definitely Instagram. I would suggest that you connect the two together so that you're working on both of them at the same time. If it's a really young person, you might think about TikTok and Snapchat and some of those over venues. But I'm here to tell you that if you choose Instagram and Facebook, you will reach 98% of the people you're looking for. Update your info. I've already said update your info. Nothing worse than stale inventory. You know what else? When you have stale information on your website, you know what else it says? It says you might be closed. Or if you don't answer emails on Facebook or messages on Facebook, they think you're out of business. Don't let social media eat up all your time. You can use sites like Hootsuite that allow you to go out on several platforms with one keystroke. Don't waste time on channels that don't work for you. Again, if you concentrate on Facebook and Instagram, you're going to be in good shape. Understand that online activities can come with pitfalls. Listen, the more business that's done online, the higher your returns will be because people buy things they don't want. They got used to Warby Parker and Amazon sending you packages of stuff. Just pick what you want, keep what you want, send the rest back. People are bought into that. So they buy stuff they don't want, knowing that you're just going to return it. And some of the bigger boxes right now are telling people, here's your refund, just keep it. It's more expensive for us to manage it and get it returned and refund your money and deal with it if it's damaged. Some big boxes just tell you to keep the product. Encourage your satisfied customers to post. Try to get your top 20% to be your ambassadors that are willing to offer word of mouth and testimonies that speak to what their experience is like and why they love your store so much. I mean, that's the bottom line. People have to share the joy that they feel when they shop with you. And clarify inaccurate comments. Don't get in an argument. Don't do anything nasty. But if you believe something's being said that's just not true, just say something like, we pride ourselves in our customer service. I am so disappointed like that something like that happened to you. So anyways, I see that we're heading toward the end here. Questions, comments, anything to share back there on the home front on the islands?
Okay, if anyone has a question, you can raise your hand. And we can call on you. Well, in the interim, while you're thinking of your question, you can put them in the chat and I will put up a poll question. Okay. And our poll question, while we're waiting for those of you to have a question. How many of you attending are currently in business? We'll give you a few seconds to answer that. All right, we will close the poll in about 2 seconds. And our poll is closing. And I'm going to end the poll now. And wow, that's pretty cool. 100% of the persons that answered the poll are currently in business.
Well, I hope I gave you all some good advice to improve your business.
Right. And I don't see any. Oh, yes. You can get a copy of the presentation. We will send that out to you shortly. And the presentation is also on Facebook and it will be on our YouTube channel shortly. So that's a good thing. All right.
It is a good thing.
And another question. We have two more seminars. We have 2 more webinars in this series.
Yes.
Next week and the week after. And next week is going to talk about shipping. And the week after Is that correct?
Shipping and fulfillment, yeah.
Shipping and fulfillment.
Keeping up with the e-commerce sales.
Okay. And the last webinar next week is what is next week? Next week is
It moved to customer service reimagined.
that customer service reimagined.
Yeah.
We have 3 more or 2 more?
Yeah, because I missed one with the COVID.
Okay.
This was last week's seminar.
All right. So we have 3 more seminars.
That's
wow.
right. That's
okay.
right.
So next week is shipment and fulfillment. And after that is the customer reimagined. And then last but not least will be co-opetition. And yes, folks, that is not a typographical error.
That is a word I invented.
That's a word Mr. Mark Wilson invented, and you definitely will not want to miss that webinar.
That's an important one.
Okay. And okay. And I'll end the polling on this current question. Do you plan to attend any of the other upcoming webinars? And man, they are really impressed with you, Mr. Mark Wilson, because 100% of the persons that answered that question said, yes, they will be attending.
Someone just asked, how do you advertise for good employees? In the chat room.
Okay, you can answer that
And
question.
here's my answer to that. Ask them if they've shopped with your store before and what they like about it. Because I'm not hiring anybody that hasn't even checked me out yet or bought a product from me. Because that's how you create a culture of people that care and are passionate about not only your product and your assortment, but what culture you've created within the store.
That sounds like good advice. Very good advice. And we had someone that was watching on Facebook and they said, thanks for the information. And
Well, they're welcome.
yes. And our disaster recovery and resiliency series runs through April the 14th. That's every Wednesday at 2:00 from now through April the 14th. But tomorrow we have 2 more webinars. At 12:00, we have our government contracting series. And tomorrow is securing business with the Virgin Islands government. And then at 3:00 in the afternoon, we have basic bookkeeping. And that's going to be with Ms. Carmen Acevedo Adams. And that is our next to the last webinar in that series. And you're not going to want to miss that. So the SBDC, we are rocking and rolling with webinars. Information can't done, as they say in the Virgin Islands. And do we have any more questions? Please put them in the chat.
Thank you, everyone. Make sure you stay well and be careful.
Wear your masks. Oh, we have a question. How do I maximize my recovery dollars from COVID-19?
I can't answer that off the fly. I need to know way more about your business. But I would say my universal answer to that is be kind.
Recovery dollars from COVID-19. Be kind. And that will help you on all the fronts.
All the fronts. I'd have to do a one-on-one with you to seriously answer that question.
Okay, we can arrange that.
I think we could.
Okay, I will take a note and we will arrange that.
Awesome.
Great. Now we have a few more minutes left, Mike. So if you wanted to talk some more about that last slide that was up before Mike, you can do that.
No, I think we've driven the point home. I think I have shared the information that people want. And if they took notes, they've got a lot of good things to do.
And if they didn't take notes, they're going to get a copy of the PowerPoint presentation.
Anyway, but you know and I know if you write down what you're hearing, you're going to remember it better.
Muscle memory. Yes, sir.
Yep.
Very good. Okay, well, on behalf of the Virgin Islands Small Business Development Center, our state director, Mr. Ted Gutierrez, and the staff on St. Croix and the staff on St. Thomas, we want to thank all of you for joining us this afternoon. And Mark Wilson, we thank you for joining us and
Oh, you're
presenting.
welcome. I love working with you guys.
Okay, and we'll see all of you, if not tomorrow, next week, Wednesday, as we continue disaster resiliency and recovery with Mark Wilson and the Wilson Company. Thank you very much and do have a wonderful day.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody.